Hello, YouTubes, and welcome to another Mercury Cougar update. So this is like a special occasion because I'm doing an update within weeks of the last one. As you may have noticed, there's a lot of bodywork that's happened since the last time I updated. So for my birthday, my father-in-law said he'd do some bodywork for me. And this is the result. He did a really good job, it looks like. I'm just seeing the car for the first time now. I kind of snuck in here. I was in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd pop in. And so you're seeing it sort of the first time that I'm seeing it. And as you can see here, we've got a nice finished up fender. Okay, so, and as you can see over here, we've got another fender, some of the bumper fillers and fascia, and some of the end caps for the, I believe, the fenders. And over here, we have the hood. That's looking really good. And then we've got the whole car sitting up here on the hoist. Thought it might be a good opportunity to show you guys underneath the car because I don't think I've shown you before what it's like under here. But since we're up, it's a good time to show it off a bit. So this is what it looks like underneath. It's pretty solid. Not too much wrong with it. You see here we've got the, I guess, long tube headers. I don't know what to call these really. I guess they are long tube because they're not shorties like you'd see on, say, a Fox body Mustang. So we've got headers on here, transmission pan, everything's looking pretty good. Of course, we've always got a little bit of seepage here because it's a C4 and sometimes this is what they do. And it's the oil pan. Some of you are going to be really mad about the Fram filter. In the front of the engine, everything looks really good under here in terms of rust and that sort of thing. It's all really minimal. Not much to really show at all. One thing I wanted to point out, this is a 1 year only option on the Cougar. So not even option, sorry. It's a 1 year only feature. So 67, they have this extra socket in the strut rod. So in 68, they went to the same setup as a Mustang. So that would be a solid bar that goes right into the lower control arm. But for this year, they have a little ball joint in there, or whatever that is. And that gets you, a little extra smoothness in the front end. So when I redo the suspension here, I'm actually going to be taking this out probably because it's a 1 year only thing. It's really hard to find new parts to replace these if anything goes wrong. So and I have to really replace. You can see here all the bushings. This bushing's really cracked, and every other bushing under here is very similar to that one. So I'm gonna have to replace a lot of this stuff in the near future. So it's hard to find parts to replace this piece here if something were to go wrong. And the setup they went with in 68 up is the same setup they used in the Cougars till 1973 and the same setup they used in the 68 to 73 Mustang. The parts availability is really good because there's 8 gajillion Mustangs from that era. And you'll always be able to replace it. And it's a direct swap. So you get a 68 lower control arm and the 68 strut rod and plop those in. And you're good to go. And I really don't think I drive it enough that I'll notice the ride difference. And actually it'll probably be feel improved because all the other bushings and stuff will be replaced. The other thing I want to point out that's a 1 year only 67 thing is we have a torque box on this side, the driver's side, but no torque box on the passenger side. 68, they fixed that. And this is, you might be thinking, a feature of having a small block. And no, the 390s only had the one torque box too. 67, for some reason, they just said, no, only needed on the driver's side, which probably was inadequate, which is why moving forward they put them on both sides. Yeah, so overall it's pretty solid under here. There's lots of undercoating, which I think has been good for this car, kept it going all these years. Rear leaf springs, shocks, those are air shocks. See here we got more Parish bushings, which I'm surprised at how cracked these are, because when I've driven this it's felt great. So I can only imagine how well it's going to drive when all that stuff's fixed. So again, another leaf spring. Sorry for all the glare from this light, it's all I could find. And there's the rear diff. And then back under here we got our fuel tank and our exhaust pipes just straight out. And it sounds pretty awesome. I don't know what kind of mufflers these are, but the car sounds great. There's no real markings on it that I can tell that give me a clue if these are any sort of performance muffler or they're just normal mufflers, and that's how this car sounds with headers on. Or just maybe that's how all the Cougars sound. I haven't been around too many of them, so I am by no means an expert on the auditory experience of Mercury Cougars. Maybe one day I will be, but not now. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to show you today, because you know, not too often that we get under here and we can actually take a look at everything. So thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you guys underneath, and then to point out some of those 67 only little unique features of the Mercury Cougar. So that's all for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, please make sure to subscribe, ding the bell so you can get notified whenever I post. And yeah, that's all for today. TTFN. I still don't know which way to wave to people, if it's this way or that way. We'll figure it out one day. You and me together. Have a good night.